Give us a home. How about that? How about just giving people that need a home inside? Then we'd be inside. You just want to just throw us to the rats.
Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strana. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP.
I came across this video on my For You, which I previously posted what up and colored people have to say with what is happening in DC, and I previously said that I was going to also put up some stitches from people that looks like me about what is really going on in DC, in the sense that it's as if they are going to, or they are wanting to, activate martial law. Lovelies, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. Even if that this was a right thing, people don't.
If you don't live in DC, you would think that, damn, DC is like he said, giving Baghdad or something, but it's not. It's not at all. Yes, we have issues like any other inner city.
Trump does not care about DC's safety. He cares about control. And what we know from history is that authoritarians always want to control the capital and the people in the capital city. It's because it's the fastest way to silence dissent and to accelerate their agenda.
Black people are more likely to be stopped, searched, questioned, arrested, and harmed in encounters with the law. When we add the presence of federal agents or the National Guard to daily life in these neighborhoods, the burden can multiply. Black Washingtonians have long recognized that community violence cannot be solved through state violence.
I used to do street outreach in the very parks Trump is targeting. People lived in these parks not because they wanted to, but because housing is too expensive and shelters are full or downright disgusting. These folks, like most homeless people in DC, are DC natives or have deep ties to the district. They are our neighbors.
The president is federalizing the police and deploying the National Guard in DC. And this is all for crime, allegedly. But then I just read that the crime rates are at an all-time low in DC currently. So that's just not the reason why. And then basically they're trying to demonize homeless people and say that homeless people are the problem. Wherein at that point, the only crime a homeless person would have committed is not having a home, which honestly, first of all, isn't illegal, but that's what they're trying to do, is criminalize that. And then basically move these homeless people out of the area and move them away. But where are you going to put them? They're going to put them into camps or just straight into the prison system. All of this is really insane to me, and it feels like it's just a test for them to see how far they'll be able to take things and if they'll be able to incorporate martial law at some point and really shut everything down. I feel like this is all just one big test and also a distraction from everything else that's currently going on, because why all of a sudden are we demonizing and criminalizing homeless people who live in Washington D.C. and federalizing the police and deploying the National Guard, saying that it's unsafe when realistically there's no data to back up any of that. It's just basically the president doing what he wants to do and criminalizing being homeless and then putting them away in some sort of camps. And by camps, I feel like you guys know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? This is really ridiculous.
Okay, now look at this. Your president has just announced that there will no longer be a District of Columbia, a DC police department, that he will now be taking it over. He will be using federal officers to arrest, to patrol, to pretty much handle all police duties. He will also, if necessary, bring in active duty militaries to take over that district. All the homeless, he says they need to go. He does not want any homeless people in Washington, D.C. On top of that, he says that the crime rate has skyrocketed, although reports are saying that the crime is down, has been down, and it's the lowest in about 10 years. So right now, Trump seems to be setting up some sort of perimeter around Washington, D.C. with the National Guard, taking over, military action coming in, federal officers there, and the missiles that he wants to put on top of the White House. He's not playing. So if you guys are into any kind of crazy activity, you might want to get out of DC. That might not be the place for you, because not only does he have Alligator Alcatraz, he also has the other one in Indiana that's coming on board, the Speedway Slammer.
This dude said he wants to come to other cities, and what I say to that is good luck. We already saw how Los Angeles pretty much embarrassed him, and continues to embarrass him. Because despite his whole law and order, I need to save America from the insanity that is happening in Los Angeles that was never taking place, people are still out there at music festivals every day. Some of them are lasting 24 hours. There's more than one reason why he chose to do this in DC, and why he chose to do this in DC right now. Because plain and simple, DC is small. DC is manageable compared to any of those other cities that he is talking about federalizing and sending people into. I really want people to understand this, especially people worried about something like martial law. The fact is, we don't have the armed forces. We don't have the manpower to control this country as if it were a complete and utter authoritarian state. This is why there's also an emphasis on mass surveillance, because we just don't have the boots that can go on the ground and control people the way this man in the White House wishes he could control people. So all he can do is grandstand. He can grandstand somewhere like Washington D.C, very close to where he currently is. He can put all of these troops and police officers and people in uniform on the ground, okay, and make it look like he is actually going to be taking control of the entire country in the same way. Someone very smart said America is probably the hardest country in the world to actually govern. The people of this nation have already gotten used to life that does not involve being run by a king, monarch, dictator, or anything of that sort. And I know MAGA will sit there and go, we love this. This is what we want. This is what we voted for. Donald Trump is doing everything that we asked him to do. But what they really don't understand right now is that their Orange God King does not have that much power. He never did.
Hey, so I just want to let you guys know that about a month ago, Trump supporters said that it was absolutely ridiculous that people think that the President of the United States of America would enact martial law anywhere in the United States of America. As of today, Donald Trump has announced that he is going to enact martial law in the city of Washington D.C. And there's rumors going around that he might be going for LA and Chicago next. Just putting that out there.
I'm in DC right now, right at the moment. Been outside the entirety of the day. Have met with organizers, have been talking to neighbors. And one of the things that I consistently see online is people talking about, oh, DC is as safe as it's ever been. And I have a very different idea of safety. This is the Democratic mayor of DC, Muriel Bowser, who removed the emergency rental assistance program at the end of 2024. So the DC residents that have lost their jobs in 2025, potentially facing homelessness, had no backing or support from the District of Columbia because that program was extracted. That to me is danger. The removing of the housing vouchers for the people who need it most is danger. The removal of programs for our children in the District of Columbia is danger. I attempted to try to enroll my son in summer camp for 2025 back in February, and he was waitlisted 32. Now, thankfully, in being a person of privilege, having a vehicle, having access to other resources, I was able to put him in a different summer camp. But what are the options for other DC children? The Democratic Party of DC, including the Democratic Mayor Bowser, the DC City Council, rolled out the red carpet for Trump to do whatever the fuck he's doing. And until people are willing to hold their local officials accountable for the ways in which they are failing their residents daily, it's just a matter of time before one of your blue cities or states is on the chopping block.
So I mentioned to my wife this morning that Donald Trump is going to be taking over the DC police and also sending 800 troops of the National Guard to basically clear out all the homelessness in DC. She had mentioned to me that she thought that this had happened before, so I did a little bit of research, and apparently there was something called Greyhound therapy. The idea with Greyhound therapy was that cities or local governments would give a one-way Greyhound ticket to homeless people, voluntary of course, in hopes that they might be able to relocate to their families, to find better opportunities, or get a fresh start in a different place. Obviously, these cities probably weren't that benevolent. They had ulterior motives, I'm sure, oftentimes. They were just kind of passing their homelessness problem off to another city. But at least it was voluntary. They would offer one-way tickets to anywhere else that they wanted to be in the country, and they would allow them to leave if they wanted to. The difference in this one is that this is not voluntary, this is mandatory. It will be by force. 800 troops from the National Guard will be deployed. That's military on the streets for homelessness. I'm still trying to do more research to find out where he plans on putting all these homeless people. I'm assuming he's not going to put them in jail, because you can't, why would you be put in prison for being poor or, not having a home? But they're going to have to go somewhere. So I'm still doing research. Let me know if y'all know anything about this.
Came to DC back in 2012 to take care of some personal issues, and I wasn't able to get inside, and I had to wind up sleeping on the street. I took the Greyhound bus down, and I had to roam around the DC neighborhood for a while just to learn the neighborhood. And you'll want to have to try to find someplace safe for yourself, so you can close your eyes, feel safe. So you try to find a busy community or a busy area. A lot of little churches to help out. The churches have little communities involved, little organizations inside, and they do be helping the people. You can go to, you get free meal, you can get clothes. But I was able to put my name on a voucher. It's called a public housing voucher, and they were able to give me a place to stay.
Homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time. Again, these are pre-existing laws that are already on the books. They have not been enforced, which is part of the reason for this federalizing of the National Guard, to bring in this assistance for law enforcement. While we are targeting criminals and trying to remove criminals off of the streets, we also want to make DC safe and beautiful, and that involves removing mentally disturbed individuals in homeless encampments as well.
Donald Trump has announced the federal takeover of DC police and the mobilization of the National Guard, and I need you to understand this is a pretext to round up and disappear unhoused people. The Trump regime announced this takeover of Capitol Police, citing rising crime as a cause for concern, despite the fact that crime in DC is actually at a 30-year low. But when you look at his own words and the breakdown of duties assigned to the 800 National Guardsmen that he's bringing into DC, it becomes very clear this is entirely about targeting homeless people. According to the Trump admin, roughly 100 to 200 of the National Guardsmen will be assigned to some sort of police duty and won't be carrying any weapons, rifles, anything of the sort, despite the fact that this is allegedly because of violent crime, leaving 600 National Guardsmen for his second task, which is to beautify the city. On his Truth Social, Donald Trump said, "Before tents, squalor, filth, and crime, it was the most beautiful capital in the world, and it will soon be that way again." He is literally openly advocating to purge unhoused people from the city, and with no clear, transparent explanation for where all of these people will go. But fortunately or unfortunately for us, history seems to be repeating itself. So let me point out for you what happened to tens of thousands of unhoused people under another fascist regime. Did you know back in 1938 in Germany, over 10,000 people, homeless people, beggars, prostitutes, alcoholics, were rounded up as asocials and shipped off to concentration camps? Yes, one of the earliest victims of the Holocaust was unhoused people. They were rounded up and deported to concentration camps like Sachsenhausen and Dachau because they didn't fit the Yahtzee ideology of the people's community. The Trump regime is planning to round up unhoused people and ship them off to detainment centers, and they're hoping, because they are undesirables, that you won't notice.
The time Trump is done in the White House, Republicans will never vote red again. They will turn blue. In fact, they will want to paint the White House blue because the way Trump is tearing stuff up, listen, I don't care if they take over Chicago. I don't care what states or cities or whatever they take over. I'm not protesting. I'm not getting involved. This is what they wanted. This is what they voted for. This is what they get, right? I'm not getting involved. But by the time he's done in this White House, Republicans will be eating their words. They will be voting blue. I guarantee you the next president will be a Democrat. I don't care who runs. Anybody can run. They are going to win. As long as they are a Democrat, they are going to win. That's one. Listen, if you don't know what martial law is, I recommend you look it up. And you can look it up on ChatGPT. All you got to do is type in what is martial law. Is martial law coming to the United States? Is it happening in the United States? Ask those type of questions. What does martial law mean for me? Look into that. Go and get you a passport. You may want to go on a vacation. Get you and your kids passports. If I were you, that's what I would do, because you may need a vacation, right? Also, look into crypto. Look into meme coins if you have any extra money. Now's the time. I don't care if you have to work 3 or 4 jobs. Any money that you can make, you need to make it. Just my advice. No financial advice, no legal. Just my advice. Position yourself and become knowledgeable what's happening in this country. It's very important.
Seriously, lovelies, whosoever that voted for this, that contributed in whatsoever thing that is going on right now, I hope that they are so satisfied with the outcome of their actions. I hope they are all satisfied. Like I said earlier on, when I saw this popping all over my For You page on TikTok, I thought that I was just going to put up some stitches from pine-colored people, because sometimes I also want to know what they have to, say with all of these ongoings, which so many of them was actually against what is happening in DC and the military that is being deployed. Many of them condemned the act and also called for people to go out on the street to protest. And when I saw some of the stitches, I was like, okay, this is what is going on now, like protests and all of that. No, I think they should be the ones going to protest, or going to the street, as been claiming my other stitches. So I think the reason behind this DC and martial law was the fact that the orange man actually was like, okay, DC is not a safe place. There is a high rate of homeless people, thereby causing a high rate of crime, right? And not only do most of them are so homeless while committing crime, right? That was what their reasons are. But the fact that they said they were going to imprison some people who have refused to stay out from the streets and maybe put them on a jail term and all of that. And I was like, even when you arrest these people, put them in a jail term, and after they must have done with their jail term, these guys are still homeless, right? They actually claim that they are doing this to protect people, to protect, human security and properties and all of that. And I believe that even if you want to do something like that, there should be a facility, or you should actually create something for these people, right? These guys are so eager and so fast to give refugee status to people from South Africa, to white South Africa, or white Afrikaners. They are so fast, so eager to make these South Africans settle in peace, have a place to lay their head, have something doing, and what have you. But in times of their own, they look for ways to put these people in prison, right? But you allowed Afrikaners whom claim to be having refugee in South Africa, not forgetting that the said Afrikaners are the ones unaliving black South Africans and feeding them to the pigs, right? This whole thing is just so unbelievable. You can go to a length to imprison your own people that you are serving, right? You are so quick to like, oh, if they can't get a place, we're going to arrest them, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You're deploying so many officers, military men and all of that. But it's so easy for you to open your arms to some Afrikaners who claim to be refugees, claiming that there is a particular genocide happening, which I don't even see. What I saw, I think I stitched the video here, where one of these Afrikaners in South Africa unalive 2 black women and fed them to you know what. But oh God, have mercy, because the injustice is just so pronounced. The injustice is just there, and the thing is that there is nothing you can even do about it. You can't do anything about it. This is just a situation whereby you are eating and all of a sudden there is a bone stuck in your throat. You don't know if you should get the bone out from your throat or you should just swallow the bone. Because this level of injustice is just so extreme. And I wouldn't blame anyone crashing out. Somebody said in the comment section, because sometimes when I stitch these videos, I try as much as I can to see how people are feeling about it. And somebody was like, this man actually promised a no election. Like, this should be that his own election is the last election that will happen. And this man is probably going to do everything in his possible best to remain in the office. And it's already beginning. It has begun. It only takes prayer, the grace of God, in order for him to just have a change of mind and quietly go down after his own tenure. Seriously. Like, it is so easy for you to treat a fellow human being the way you please because you think you have the privilege and the authority to do that. But without even thinking that there is what they call karma. Even if you don't receive this karma in this present life, maybe in the nearest future or in the next life. I just feel so bad for these people. Because the same people who are trying to imprison them are the same people who have an open arms to some Afrikaners from South Africa. Anyway, lovelies, want to just leave me your own thought in the comment section and what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. If you've not subscribed to my Belinda verse, which happens to my second backup channel, oh my God, you're missing. I try as much as I can to put up some historical facts in that channel. I just made that channel to bring together the melanated people. Enough of the division. That channel is mainly for unity of melanated. We just have to. The more I learn the history, the more I just want to put it up there to save it. Even not for this my generation, to my future generation as well. Anyway, lovelies, and just leave me your thought in the comment section of what you think. Please subscribe if you're yet to do that. And I will see you, lovelies, when I upload.
So just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. Please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, wanna just leave me your own thoughts, subscribe, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.